Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Yeah, good afternoon. I hope you can hear me. Welcome to this webinar about PoolParty features for Drupal and other content management systems. Why other content management systems or why Drupal? We will focus today on Drupal, but we will not go so much into technical details. So all what you hear is also sort of applicable for other content management systems, as well as other IT systems which are in need for semantics, as PoolParty is a semantic middleware. What awaits you today in this webinar? First of all, I would like to stress how semantic technologies can enhance your digital products and services which you are running on content management systems. And I will also outline what other integrations we have and focus then on the PoolParty features for Drupal. And I'm very happy that I can share customer success stories with you and show you demos which will make that much more alive, as we would just stick to theory. Some of you know PoolParty quite well. Some of you are new to this semantic technology and to PoolParty especially. So I would like to stress that we are a global company. We have customers worldwide from different industries, from pharmaceutical ranging to publishing companies. E-commerce companies are very well represented too. And we are very happy and proud that we have a very extensive partner network which can support us in consulting services around PoolParty Semantic Suite, which covers quite challenging information management use cases. I'm guiding you through this webinar today. My name is Nikki. I'm working for the Semantic Web company since 3 years. I have quite an interdisciplinary role here at the company, which evolved with the company growth. But in my core, I see myself as somebody who is building a bridge between experts and non-experts, but also between experts from different fields. And let's jump right into the webinar. And I would like to start this session with a question. What do you associate with content management system? I actually asked that my colleagues, and they answered, most of them bluntly, it's about building a website. And then I thought, okay, what a stupid question, right? Maybe I should have asked them differently. Maybe I should have asked, what is a website today? And I promise you I will not make sales webinar be too marketing savvy here at that point, but I think it's very crucial that we are aware that websites turned into digital experience platforms. Websites are enhanced by many functionalities that range from adding an e-commerce tool to the website, which enable users maybe to upload and download data. Companies are in need of providing services like learning, which are combined with certification mechanisms. And this is all built on content management systems. You can build on top of that self-service portals and add matchmaking applications. So the opportunities are quite endless. And Drupal alone has 40,000 modules which enhance the Drupal content management system, which states quite well in which direction this all is heading. Yeah. So content management system is actually about providing a customer experience, about leading people from one point of the communication to a certain goal. So we need to personalize this customer journey, and this is in the digital realm done with content in its various facets. It's not only about personalization, but also leaving this state behind of displaying static information and making this experience platforms more dynamic with what they show. And we do not have only one digital channel. We have many. We are collecting data. We can learn from that, which also has an impact on the content we display. So these systems get more and more integrated and embedded and need to communicate with each other. And by that, we actually covered the surface of this content management systems, what we display to our target audiences. But what is for us today in this webinar also very crucial is the back end. And it's how can people, content professionals, work with content so that they achieve this goal of customer experience. And here we need good workflows where teams can work together to manage this quantity of content, but which enables them also to ensure that they display and produce good quality content. And at the core of that all is actually that people need to be aware what they have. And it's about findability. It's about finding the content. It's about search. And by that, we are leaving like this high level overview and we come to something very basic, which is metadata management. Yeah. So we need to annotate our content, and we still have to cover actually the basics. And there are certain challenges related to that. But the more sophisticated this experience platforms get, the less we can ignore the fact that we need to annotate our resources. And a look on the Drupal download area shows that there are many things which relate to that. So you can actually find around 530 modules to enhance the out-of-the-box taxonomy manager, which is available in Drupal. You will find more than 200 modules which will help you to improve your search engine optimization efforts, which is of course also related to metadata. And there are even more than 550 modules which also relate somehow to improving search. So it's not only building a taxonomy, it's much more what you need to have good search capabilities. So there are tools and methods which you can use, but maybe let's go a step back and think shortly about it. what these tools and methods should address. And what are the challenges when it comes to content annotation? So it's the human factor, it's motivation, I would say. It's time you have to invest. You can provide, of course, incentive as the management to encourage your content professionals to see it as an integral part of their work. But the motivation might be low because they are aware that the tools they have will not enable them to provide consistent metadata, to tackle their work in a precise way, and actually the burden to maintain this annotation resources they generate is very burdensome. So actually, most of you who are involved in this kind of work will have an understanding when people hesitate to annotate the content extensively, or don't really know how to approach that. And there is even something more to that, and that is that metadata alone is not enough to build an environment, an information environment that will be strong enough to cover this smart applications we want to provide to the market. So when metadata alone is not enough, what do we need then? And that's semantic metadata management, which is at the very core of what PoolParty is covering with its solutions. And shortly, for those who are maybe new to semantic technologies, this short example will bring it to the point. Just imagine you have a new product launched, and this product not just have one name, but there might be also a synonym for it. There might be abbreviations, and maybe you are working in a international environment and you have to cover your resources in many different languages. So there will be also multilingual resources which should be annotated. And people need to know which kind of text they should use. But when they then search for the documents which are available, which they maybe need to update, they could end up with hundreds and thousands of documents, depending on your organization size. So that would also not be so helpful. So what is needed here is a context, yeah. And when I have a hierarchy in which my metadata is embedded, which will guide me actually to the relevant resources, then search gets much more precise. And I will end up with the resources I need, and then can rework the content in an efficient manner. And when this knowledge graph, and this is part of a knowledge graph, is embedded in my content management system and is automatically attached to the content, then I, as a content professional, can be assured that the right annotations have been applied, because this is aligned with the central knowledge model, which is shaped by different parties in my organization. Yeah, so I shortly showcased what semantic metadata is. It's about having the metadata embedded in a broader context. And with PoolParty, you can build this kind of knowledge models, but of course there are much more components needed in order to apply that to your resources. And I will also introduce you later to entity extraction and text mining, because this is part of automatic tagging of content. We will not have time today to see how you can build ontologies, which would increase the complexity of taxonomies. But what is important here to mention is maybe that with PoolParty, you can start annotating your content in a very easy way and then increase the complexity step by step. And as another layer, yeah, we do very sophisticated, complex data integration tasks, and we also provide out-of-the-box interfaces for the most common applications as semantic search and recommendation. So customers do not have to build these applications on their own. They can take our templates, if you like so, and adapt them to their information assets. And I mentioned it in the beginning, semantic metadata management is not only relevant in the fields of content management system. We are a semantic middleware, and we have integrations also with document management systems, also with collaboration and authoring tools, but also like for graph databases and search engines, semantic enhancement is very relevant. So all this is related to information management, and therefore semantics come into play. But today we will stick to our Drupal integration. Yeah. We are working with customers who have Drupal installations enriched by semantics for many, many years. That's why we have a very mature integration. And we provide these modules for the Drupal community, which is like the taxonomy manager, where people can and build in PoolParty their knowledge graphs, which they will then use for annotating the content automatically. And there is this semantic connector component, which actually makes sure that what you model in PoolParty is synchronized with your Drupal installation. And then we have also this out-of-the-box features, graph search, and the PoolParty glossary, which can be used in Drupal websites out of the box. So this is a very comfortable way for Drupal customers to start their semantic journey. Yeah. And by that, I would say we take a look actually shortly how it looks like when you model a taxonomy in a normal taxonomy editor. In Drupal, and I have to stress here that Drupal is anyway very much advanced. You can add terms here, you can build hierarchies, but you cannot really relate them. The search functionalities are limited. You can go on the next page and see what you have. So yeah, when people work with the taxonomy editor and they want to know how the knowledge model looks like, they have this access point, which is very advanced in comparison to other content management systems on the market. But if you take semantic management, metadata management serious, because your requirements are quite sophisticated, then you might prefer working with PoolParty. And here you see actually a knowledge graph which was modeled in PoolParty. So I have to log in. You see here different projects which are modeled. And yeah, here we have an overview of the size of these knowledge models. We have around 3,500 concepts and categories which provide nice structure. You can also add top concepts and here the concepts. You can start relating these concepts. You can add alternative labels, which would be synonyms. You can also add notes how to use these concepts. And when you start annotating your content with these concepts, you will have security that they relate not just to a term, but really to a concept, an idea. So I think you get the idea that this is very user-friendly, that can be used by not only content professionals who should annotate the content, but also maybe by subject matter experts who have a better understanding what the content is about. And the semantic connector will actually make sure that what you model in PoolParty can be used in Drupal automatically. So this is something about configurations, basically. We will not go into configurations today, but it's just a configuration thing in the Semantic Drupal installation. Yeah. But having that the knowledge model alone and having it accessible in Drupal is nice, but that doesn't mean that you can still use it. It's actually power tagging what enables that. And power tagging I will demonstrate and explain like with this architecture. So we have in PoolParty a component which is the PoolParty extractor. And the PoolParty extractor accesses the knowledge graph and will match the content resources with this available knowledge graph. And you can fine-tune that to your needs. You can decide if frequency of concepts should have a bigger impact on that, or you can also limit the content, the concepts you want to attach. But basically there is a machine supported way how this annotations which a group of people decided upon gets used for the content. And once you have that, you are really in the situation that you can provide smart applications, that your search gets more precise because it follows this relations, this patterns you created. You actually consider synonyms, so it's not just like a concept which what got attached to your resource, but this additional information also is taken into account. Yeah, and by that I would say let's see how customers have used our technology. And I would like to start with CityCN, which is a climate technology center and network organization affiliated with the United Nations. And their focus is actually to bring interest bodies, vendors, affiliations at the cross-section of climate and climate technology together and make them share the knowledge. Because as you are maybe aware, in NGOs, resources are tight, and they also want to prevent that things get worked on double and threefold. So it's about building a knowledge hub to get as a community more efficient. So this website or experience platform shall become a central access point for expert resources. And these expert resources are quite extensive. I have to look it up. Actually, I asked a colleague. Yeah, there are almost 15,000 documents collected here worldwide, ranging from different topics, but also from different formats. And when I search, for example, for climate change, you see here already some suggestions which are derived from my knowledge graph. I could actually filter down what I need. So this relates to what I mentioned before, that getting hundreds of resources for a concept might not be helpful, but having also as a user this graph search, which is also derived from the PoolParty technology. So here we actually made parts of the knowledge graph externally visible and usable for people to drill down in the resources. So let's say I actually just want webinars for climate change. Then this gets much more specific. And we also have here a recommendation feature, which provides me with more specific content recommendations, which are simply following the knowledge graph, the relations, the relevant synonyms. And this front end you see is based on PoolParty graph search. Yeah, so CityCN didn't have to build this on their own. We provide the access to parts of the knowledge graph out of the box. And yeah, this recommendation you see here, for example, is customized, so it's extendable depending on the customer needs. But they didn't have to start from scratch. So like the search or enhanced search or graph search, as we call it, came out of the box. Yeah, so far so good. That was CityCN. And then as a second use case, I would like to jump to the Asian Development Bank. The Asian Development Bank is very exciting in this regards that they even beat the former customer in regards of content quantity. So even themselves could not provide exact number how much content they have. It's around 50 to 70,000 content assets, and 7,000 are added on a yearly basis. So this is a very extensive knowledge hub and very well structured. When you take a short look, it's quite clear that there are different formats depending on the information need. So we have news, where we also can drill down a little bit what we actually need. So these are news releases. They are annotated, but not very extensively. We have data and research, which looks differently because it covers, of course, different kind of information needs. And when I go on a detailed view, I see that the annotation is a little bit more extensive. So the subjects are covered, but also the authors and the type of the content publication. And yeah, I could go on like that. I mean, most of you are in the fields of content management, and you are probably aware how important structured content is. And I think that the Asian Development Bank does an extremely great job in making this huge potential of knowledge very easily accessible. And they are also going further and trying to combine the content with analytics, as you see here, and also here different search functionalities to drill down are available. But what I want to share with you is actually that until recently, I think this or last year, the Asian Development Bank was annotating the content manually. They did an excellent job, because I think if you cover such a complex domain, which is spread globally, and this is like the service you provide, you cannot skip the point of annotating your content. But you can also imagine what a huge manual effort that must be. When you have to align people, when you have to decide on concepts, which were basically really managed like in the Drupal taxonomy. Yeah, so that's why the annotation is also rather limited. That also explains why we sometimes only have a few annotations to keep that concise, obviously. And by starting to work with PoolParty, this brings the whole content display and service to a new level, because they can gradually start annotating their content in a more granular way, where it's not just about a few categories and deciding what content type is this and what major subject this is, but really starting to become as granular as I showed you here with example taxonomy. And when this is machine supported, just a few people maybe will make sure that the quality fits, and people people can focus on more sophisticated content display and maintenance work. Yeah. So these were two customer success stories. I would like to make you aware that at the PoolParty website, you will find actually more information on our integrations, also for Drupal. So yeah, you can work in PoolParty and make sure with the semantic connector that this work gets attached to your Drupal installation. You don't have to build more sophisticated search modules out from scratch. We provide you with graph search interfaces, which can be adapted as CityCN did. And we are an innovation company, and we are exploring innovative ways of enhancing knowledge management. So we are also working with speech to text recognition. We provide various analytic tools to explore the knowledge graph which is behind this website. So there are a few other features which might be helpful in your work as well. Yeah. So depending on the stage of your knowledge about semantic technologies, I would like you to invite you to the PoolParty Academy, where you can register for a free training and learn the basics of semantic technologies. At the website, you will find it under Starter's Guide. So you will learn what kind of applications can build with semantic technologies, and how building a knowledge graph relates to it, and how text mining works. And if you are more technical, I would like to invite you to join us for the Semantic Integration training. Here we really show step by step how you can enrich your installations with semantics. Usually this training costs $1,300 but as a participant of this webinar, I would like to invite you to that. Just write me an email to academy@poolpartybiz and mention that you were an attendee of the Drupal webinar, and you will get access to this training for 3 months. You will get a reminder email for this webinar where I will actually write down the email. Again, it's academy@poolpartybiz, which will provide you access to this training. Yeah, so this was briefly about the PoolParty installation for Drupal. I'm also aware that some of you might have more technical questions too, or more specific questions, because use cases can vary very much. So I would also like to encourage you to let us know if there is a need to explore your use cases in more detail. And I'm very happy to connect you with one of our technical consultants for a deep dive in technical matters. Yeah, thank you for your attention. That was a rather short webinar, but I hope it was useful for you to learn more about PoolParty and our integrations. And we will have such webinars more frequently. So I'm also happy if you let us know what else would be interesting for you to hear in a webinar. And yeah, enjoy the rest of the afternoon, the evening, and for the participants from different geographic regions like the US, have a good day. Thank you very much for your attention.